What is going on, everybody? It is episode 785 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am in the process of edifying myself, learning all about the rap beef between Bhad and Travis Barker's daughter.
Bhabie.
Sorry, I gave the culturally insensitive pronunciation.
Yes.
It's actually Bhabie. Yeah.
If they don't know who that is, we wouldn't blame you. Alabama Barker is the daughter of Travis Barker, and Bhabie is, of course, Bhabie.
Well, if you don't know who Bhabie is
you
by
can catch me outside.
now, you live under a rock.
Yes.
We can't help you.
Well, that is something we're going to talk about today. It's been a very, very interesting morning getting the show ready today.
I want to get out of the way my mini review for the birthday cake churro from Taco Bell. You all were right. It is insanely mid. Definitely not worth even trying if you haven't tried it yet. I was actually surprised. And then I heard this term today while I was listening to a podcast this morning. Dead food. Like,
what does that mean?
Food that just has no sign of life in it. Like, there's no way that there's anything inside this item of so-called food that has any plant material or any sort of like biological marker. Like, it's nothing. It's just dead.
Microwavable burritos are exactly that. When I eat it, I'm like, I'm actually eating negative.
But at least those have like plants in them.
No, it's something
like,
that's been biologically engineered.
Beans.
Like, whoever makes the burritos that I buy from the grocery store was probably a Nazi in World War II and developed it as some type of chemical weapon for the U.S. government.
Yeah, that's dead food right there.
Yeah, it is. Well, since you're doing that, maybe I'll do my my quick review of Captain America Captain America Brave New World, which was I gave it a C. I took some notes after the fact. It was actually kind of amazing to go to a movie and not sit there and obsessively keep notes while I'm watching it, and rather took notes afterwards, even though I wasn't really planning on it. As much as people complained about having to do homework watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I would argue that you might even be more lost if you haven't watched the 2007 Hulk movie in years, which I haven't, and was very, very confused for about the first 15 minutes until I started to, like, in my mind, I paused the movie and was like trying to think back to watching that movie, which it's been years. So that part kind of sucked. Different Hulk in this universe, because obviously Mark Ruffalo is not Edward Norton. Different Thunderbolt Ross, because William Hurt died and Harrison Ford took over. Same Betty Ross and same Stearns. So everything's all over the place, and it was really, really weird. Sam was a better Falcon to Steve than Joaquin is a Falcon to Sam. And the actress who they hired, and this was maybe my biggest problem with the movie, is the actress they hired to play Sabra is so very bad. Like, almost
What was her name?
The actress's name was Shira Haas.
Yeah, people were mad that she's not Israeli in real life or something.
No, she is.
Oh, no, sorry. They were mad that she is Israeli in real life.
I mean, my problem was more that my guess, it seemed like maybe she hasn't done a whole lot of English-speaking roles, so there wasn't a lot of inflection or power to her performance. She's absolutely tiny. And if she doesn't have, if she's not a mutant like in the comics, then it makes no sense. That was maybe the worst part of the film. The other problem was it's based off another like political treaty, just like Civil War was, and Civil War did the Sokovia Accords really, really well. And maybe the problem for me was that I'm watching something, and when its comparison points are your two favorite movies in all of Marvel, it's a very, very hard track to follow. It wasn't a bad movie, but I definitely wouldn't watch it again. And if it was at home, I definitely would have been stuck on my phone pretty much the whole time. I really think that there would have been better to use more of Sidewinder. Yeah, it was very average. It was nice, however, to go out to the movies, and that was nice to, like I said, the worst experience going to see kind of a slop pop popcorn flick is still better than like sitting at home and watching 2 hours of some show that you don't know if you're going to like or not and then kind of fall off. So I should have probably maybe like done a review, but it's like 2 weeks out now. Nobody cares. Maybe catch it when it's on Disney Plus if you have like a really strong attention span. If you don't, I would have rather they had injured, or I rather, again, I'll give spoiler alert here. I would have rather they had used Stearns to turn new Falcon and have Sam go off on the adventures with Isaiah Bradley than what they did. I just don't know if the actor that they've got playing Joaquin, he's supposed to be plucky sidekick. But the thing is when Sam played sidekick, he was cool sidekick, because Steve Rogers is badass, but I wouldn't necessarily call him cool. He's kind of a dork. He doesn't know anything that's gone on in the last 100 years, and everyone makes fun of him for being a virgin. Like, Sam is cool. Joaquin is not cool like Sam was. That's my mini review.
So it's not exactly a cultural
touchstone. But the thing is like, if you don't really care about like continuity and maybe you vaguely remember Incredible Hulk in 2007, you might be fine with it. You might go and have a good time. Like I said, I didn't have a bad time at the movie, but I wouldn't watch it again. I definitely wouldn't watch it again.
That's the ultimate, deciding factor. If it's a good movie, if you wouldn't watch it again, it's not good.
Yep. All right. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. I apologize about the aside. We are going to talk about the tragic passing of actress Michelle Trachtenberg. That news broke today. It is very, very sad. And there's a lot of discourse already starting about comments made in the past. I have a connection to a past episode of the show House that she did that I found to be unbelievably...
Start the counter,
it's relevant to today.
Pretty weird stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. It's a very disturbing thing to talk about, depressing thing to talk about, but we're going to get into it. She was only 39 years old. We're also going to talk about actor John Lithgow, who's going to make history as the first major character actor that is American to play a role in a Harry Potter franchise, because in the past it was always UK actors. They made some exceptions for like the Victor Crumb and some other characters who are from other countries, I think Bulgaria, but in general UK casting. John Lithgow is, of course, American. He's going to be playing Dumbledore, and kind of like they were talking about with Ryan Reynolds, till you're 90, because he's on the older side.
How old is he?
He's in his 80s. So, I mean, they're saying that he's like, this is going to carry me into the twilight of my life. He was already saying that. So, 87?
He is 79
so he's
currently.
He's assuming that they're going to take 7 years to film all of these movies, that he's going to be in there all the way to the end. Right. So we're going to talk about that. We are, of course, going to talk about Bhad and her beef with Alabama Barker. I don't know why she has H's in her name. It's weird. But it's rat beef. It's stupid. It's going to be hilarious.
It's the dumbest rat beef.
It is the stupidest thing. Yeah. This is not exactly Eminem and Ray Benzino, which was funny too, because Eminem was so much cooler than him. And it's definitely not Jay-Z and
It's
Nas.
It's not even Eminem.
It's not Tupac and Biggie.
It's not even Eminem versus MGK. Like, it's not even that level.
It's more akin to that, though.
Maybe.
MGK is 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon away from Alabama Barker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, less than that.
So we'll talk about that. We're also going to dunk more on Meghan Markle, because Mary deems it so.
Yeah, well, her past of bullying is coming back to haunt her these days as she's trying to rebuild her public image. So let's dunk on her some more.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started then.
Yeah, it was announced this morning that actress Michelle Trachtenberg was found unresponsive in her New York apartment by her mother, and she is pronounced dead at the age of 39. Far too young to pass. I fondly remember her from her role as Georgina Sparks in Gossip Girl. What about you?
For me, there's a couple of them. So it's Buffy playing Dawn Summers. It's, of course, the episode of House that I remember. It's a lot of things. She's one of those. She had a really great episode of the show NCIS LA where she kind of gets dragged around town by Sam and G. Callan, and she's just one of those actors. She had a very, very recognizable face.
Yeah,
very like, she had like a great face for photography. She's a great actress, and it's very, very sad to see. And of course, Harriet the Spy. When I was a kid, that was a thing. That was the one when I saw it the first time. I was like, oh yeah, it'd been so long since I'd seen it, because I was a kid when that movie came out.
So the New York Post released a first report about this, saying Trachtenberg was found by her mother at around 8 a.m. today at her apartment building in Manhattan. The actress recently underwent a liver transplant, according to some sources. Her death is not being investigated as suspicious, so there are no reports of any possible foul play here. And they seem to suggest that this is a medical complication related to her liver transplant, but other people are saying that there's no proof that she underwent that procedure.
Oh yeah,
it's getting weird how many conflicting statements are being made.
I'm gonna put this up there from ChatGPT, which is like ChatGPT is absolutely broken right now. I asked ChatGPT flat out, did Michelle Trachtenberg have a liver transplant? They said no, there are no credible reports or sources indicating that she had a liver transplant. Then I asked, what is her medical history as reported? It says she has kept most of her medical history private. However, she's spoken about dealing with injuries and health challenges. There are no widely reported serious medical conditions such as a liver transplant or major surgeries that have been publicly confirmed. And then it asked, do you want any recent updates on her health? I said yes. It says, I'm deeply saddened to inform you that Michelle Trachtenberg has passed away at the age of 39. She was found unresponsive in her New York City apartment on the morning of February 26, 2025. Recent reports indicate that she had undergone a liver transplant and may have been experiencing complications related to the procedure. ChatGPT is broken.
Yeah, I just saw Tim point out on Twitter that ChatGPT hasn't been working and been spitting out a lot of incorrect information recently, which here you have an example of that. It's just not worth using anymore. But you also made a very strange connection to an episode of House that she guest starred in season 2, where she played a character that underwent not a liver transplant, but a heart transplant.
And was dealing with... So in the episode, her mom is like a helicopter parent that's terrified that her daughter is going to get sick.
And knowing that her mom was the one who found her this morning is so crazy.
And she had a clean room built in their house for her to live in, and basically you find out that the boyfriend has been sneaking in and brings in a tick, and she got sick from a tick bite, but she does live in that episode. But that was the first thing I thought about when I saw this. And this is another example of ChatGPT just being wrong, because I asked it for a recap of the synopsis, and it gave the completely wrong episode and even got a character name wrong from the season 5 episode. And then it wasn't until I asked for the plot synopsis of the actual episode that I knew that it gets it right and actually mentions her name there.
So if you didn't have such an encyclopedic knowledge of House MD, then you wouldn't have been able to get that information.
Reset the counter.
Yeah, so super weird connection there. And other people, including Michelle Trachtenberg's own fans, had concerns that this could be related to drugs or mental illness. They went on to say in this New York Post article, Trachtenberg had posted a series of troubling photos in recent months to Instagram, where she has 800,000 followers, in which she appeared gaunt and frail, prompting some fans to comment about her startling weight loss and ask if she was on drugs. Back in January last year, Michelle Trachtenberg responded to concerns from fans, saying that she was happy and healthy, and also said that she had never had plastic surgery. Those were also part of the comments that she was receiving.
I mean, this is making me think of the Ariana Grande discussion that we've been having recently, where she looks very unwell and people are pointing it out. And then people get mad when you point it out because they feel like you're not supposed to call these things into question. But the thing is if you're a public figure, this is always going to happen. We mentioned before, the same thing happened with Chadwick Boseman when he made a statement early into COVID and people denoted his, he didn't look well. And that's a scary thing, but it's one of those things you can't stop people from thinking about what's going on with a celebrity. You can't stop people from speculating. It's just part of being in the public eye.
So there was one photo in particular from a month ago that she posted to Instagram. It received a lot of negative comments about her appearance, and I think it's in the New York Post article. Do you have that?
I have that here.
That's the photo in question. And she, if I just came across that photo, I would not have recognized her as Michelle Trachtenberg. I would not. Like, she looks like a different person, and that's what a lot of people in the comments were saying. And I pulled up some all of these comments are from before her death, like from several weeks ago. One said she looks so different. There's something wrong and I'm not being a hater. I hope you're healthy and well. This looks like a completely different person. Another one said heroin addiction is so sad. And then here were a couple more. These comments are awful. You have no idea what's going on, and if she'd ask for help or not, it could be something out of her control, and it's no one's business. She reads these comments. If it's something she can't control or help, your judgmental comments are not helping. Another one said, it's disgusting how effing rude people can be. Does it make you feel good inside making rude comments about her looks? She's beautiful. She is blessed with life. Leave her be. Take your negativity somewhere else. It's pathetic and sad.
Well, here's the thing.
Other people making comments about how she looks like she needs help.
On its face, I agree with that, and I would love in a perfect world for that to be true. But as long as comment sections are left open, you're going to get the good and the bad in equal measure. It sucks, but it's true.
Yeah, and that's exactly the discourse has been going on about Ariana Grande. Every time that someone points out how underweight she is and the fact that she looks like she needs medical attention, then her fan base floods you with clapbacks about how rude that is and how it's not your place to notice, it's not your place to comment, and they even more delusional ones say she actually is the perfect picture of health and you're insane for even saying that. Yeah. But if the reports about Michelle Trachtenberg getting a liver transplant are based in fact, she probably was struggling with some kind of medical diagnosis long before this announcement, and there was probably a complication related to that and not any kind of like foul play, not
that said no criminality was suspected at all.
There's nothing drug related that's been reported so far. You know, more she probably looked gaunt because she was going through this medical crisis.
And then, of course, people then brought up her past comments during COVID into question, and it devolved into even more.
Yeah, then there were other people saying, "Oh, she died from COVID."
Yeah,
like
so there
when they know nothing.
As with any time a celebrity dies now, COVID gets immediately brought up, and vaccines immediately get brought up. And I'm not having that discussion. It's not the point of the discussion here. It's not what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, such a knee-jerk reaction.
More things can come out later. You can have that discussion then.
They even say that about older actors who die at a completely normal age for natural causes. They say, oh, it's the vax, or oh, it's the new variant of whatever. There's no basis for that, but R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg.
It's very, very sad, and that's, I guess it kind of makes me think more about like the nature of celebrity and what it would be like to be a family member of somebody who this person means a whole lot more to the people that love her than she means to the people who worship her or just follow her on social media. And you're going to get vastly different ideas about that. And then to see it all kind of thrown into a blender, into just a mixture of celebrity worship and blind hatred based on a couple of things they may have said or done,
and also jokes,
and a lot of people making jokes about things. And I saw
some people joking about Blake Lively, given that she worked with Blake Lively on Gossip Girl.
I would never want to. She was also a child star, and that also, like, I was watching. I mentioned before that I was watching the episode of Watson recently, and they were talking about kids being put on social media by their parents and how they can't consent. But also now, if you become a celebrity as a child, it's like you can't consent to that. Now you're kind of just saddled with it your whole life, and you have to find a way out if you're not interested in it. I'm not saying that's what the case was for her here, but I'm saying that, if you were a child star in the 90s, now you have that recognition forever, and there's nothing you can do to get out of it. Now you're going through severe health problems, and people are using it as a way to kind of bloviate about what it all means and whether you're healthy or not. And I wouldn't want that. I would have never wanted to have that level of success or fame, because I don't want people to have to, take bets and make jokes about my health. Like,
I don't remember his name, but I saw similar conversations happening about this child actor from Disney who was on the show Jessie. He died of a seizure, I think. And people were, his name is Cameron Boyce. He died of a seizure caused by an ongoing medical condition back in 2019.
Okay.
And people were creating all of these conspiracy theories about how, like, they were trying to silence him because he worked at Disney and he had information on people and, like, you know, he had blackmail material, so they had to silence him this way. And I just noticed that people kind of took it and spiraled with it immediately. It took no time at all.
And to the people that love them, it's just an absurd overreaction.
Right.
Like it's
there are the people who love them, and there are the people who, quote unquote, love them.
Love what they could do for them because they confirm their worldview.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Rest in peace. It's very, very sad. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on then.
Olivia Munn recently spoke out on Monica Lewinsky's podcast. I didn't even know that Monica Lewinsky had a podcast, but Brett pointed out it's clearly perfect for her brand that she has a podcast where women speak out about things of this nature. She's talked about an experience that she had with a Hollywood studio that bribed her, allegedly, with a 7-figure payout if she would sign an NDA regarding a traumatic incident that she suffered on this film set. She didn't go into detail about what the trauma was or what studio this was or what movie this was on. She merely said that she declined to sign this NDA and take the payout and felt really brave doing it.
I do want to point out that eventually Olivia Munn will have her own podcast and it will be called Munn's the Word.
Yeah, that's clearly...
Like, the name is already decided.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Munn intended.
Money for nothing. Like, all sorts of names.
She told Monica Lewinsky that she turned down an offer worth millions from a studio to sign an NDA after enduring a traumatic event on a movie set. She didn't name the movie or go into detail about the incident. Quote, I had to file complaints with the studio, and there's a lot of other things that go along with it, but it got to this place where I was offered a lot of money, 7 figures to accept their apology and them taking acknowledgement of it. But it came along with an NDA. Not that I would ever talk about it truly because I wanted to move past it all, but I said I'm not signing an NDA, and they said I have to. I just felt it was so wrong, and at this time specifically, this was in the beginning of the Me Too movement and Time's Up. This was like the reckoning, Harvey Weinstein that began it all. This was that time period, and when people were targeting anyone who signed an NDA, saying, oh, you only did it for the money. So I was afraid that my voice and speaking up would reverse any kind of validity to my voice. She was hesitant to sign the NDA because she was afraid the studio behind the movie would leak it to the media in an effort to diminish her voice. After meeting with lawyers, she walked out of the studio meeting without signing the document.
People
Quote,
keep bringing up Attack of the Show. It says a movie set, not Attack of the Show.
It was not
that.
Yeah, no. This was much after that. In around 2017, I'm guessing, since she said it was like the Me Too movement was popping off. So I'm sure that at the time, this studio she was working with was incredibly scared of what she was capable of doing to them legally. So they thought better to just, brush this under the rug and give her whatever amount of money she wants so that she shuts up.
Yeah.
She said, I remember feeling so proud when I walked out, so proud of myself. I didn't think about negotiating. I didn't think about anything besides how disrespectful that was. It was the right thing to do, and the people in my life think that I did the right thing and are proud of me for that? Yes. It's not that I wouldn't have ended up with the same decision. It's that I made the decision based on anger, and that's something I had to learn how to rein in and use for my benefit.
Yeah.
But the strange part to me is that you would make this huge stand, this like moral stand to not sign an NDA and not take the money from the studio when you had zero intention of speaking out.
It actually reminded me. It literally, like, my brain is on fire today. So there was a scandal, from what I remember, from the 2019 Predator movie,
Yes, there was. They mentioned it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
She was on the 2018 Predator movie, and the director hired his friend who was a sex offender to do a scene with her without, I guess, asking her if she was cool with that.
That was
and
a
he
Shane
ended up
Black
apologizing.
movie. That was a Shane Black movie.
Yeah, he ended up having to apologize to her for that. She was also one of many Brett Ratner accusers.
Yeah.
He was accused of
the guy who's supposed to be making the Trump documentary.
Basically pulling a Louis C.K. on her, masturbating in front of her in a trailer on the set of his movie After the Sunset in 2004. And he really tried to spin that narrative a different direction, claiming that they were dating and that he actually had sex with her and forgot about it.
Oh, is that what happened?
Then, in a last-ditch effort to save his own ass before he kind of got blacklisted by the industry, he called her up on the phone one day in 2011, denying her accusation. He was probably recording the phone call. And he said that he was just joking. It got blown out of proportion. And he said, but we did date though, right? Are you really going to say that we didn't date? And he's like trying to get her to say yes.
He's got like a little recorder held up to the phone.
And she here explained it publicly after the fact, saying, I had this feeling he was recording the conversation. When she wouldn't comply with his story, he apologized and asked her to tell her followers on Twitter that all was well. She also remembered that he admitted he was in hot water with Disney and Universal regarding his comments. She declined to tweet on his behalf.
Of course.
He then offered to make a public apology on Howard Stern the next day. And she said, I remember this feeling that was it. That was the ring I could grab onto. I said, yes, tell them that you lied and we never dated. And then he ended the phone call saying, I'm sorry. I just don't know why everyone's so mad at me.
He's like, what, me?
Because you live your life as if we're all in your movie and everyone that comes into your atmosphere is under your rule. This isn't going to be your moment in your world. This is going to be my moment in my world. And in my world, guys like you go home crying. Damn.
Very theatrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of the one who's making this into a movie in her own head.
And of course, this does connect with this Cameron Diaz story from a couple weeks ago. It was like last week.
You know, what's so bizarre is Cameron Diaz made this whole grandstanding statement about taking a hiatus from her acting career.
I mean, she was saying she was tired.
Back.
I thought she was saying like,
well,
I'm done.
she decided later on that it would be a hiatus. But she comes back after 11 years of retirement, so-called retirement, to do like a generic slop
Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx.
Spy movie with Jamie Foxx. Like, is this really what convinced you to come back to the big screen?
I mean, those Netflix checks probably go hard.
I guess she just needed to buy a new home in the Palisades. But yeah, she's coming back to the public eye, and she did an appearance on Netflix's own Skip Intro podcast, where she expressed shock over how drastically different film sets feel after her 11-year retirement.
I will say that the Amazon Prime, some of the Amazon Prime shows don't have the skip intro button.
They should.
Whoever invented that should have gotten a raise in stock options.
They should, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, the industry is so different. I definitely have to say, Me Too changed everything. It's palpable. And she's saying this as it's a good thing. She's praising all of these changes that have been made to film sets over the years. She said, you walk onto the set and it's different. It wasn't just the higher ups back then. There was always just that one guy on set that you were like, here he comes again. There were always layers and layers of inappropriateness that you just had to put up with. As women, you just had to laugh it off. Some people you have to be forceful with and put up the boundaries, and others you can't give them the time of day. It's changed. I have never in my entire career had HR come in prior to a movie and talk about what's appropriate and what is inappropriate behavior. And there's a hotline, which Netflix has, to call anonymously to report issues you might be feeling. Issues you might be feeling. wow, that is amazing. The level of security, of safety you feel as a woman now on set. I never felt that before this film. So she's just thinking this is actually a utopian version of the industry she was once a part of.
It's not that the culture has changed. It's that the corporate has changed. The corporate safeguards are there to protect from the culture that is still the same.
Right. And you're also like, what, 50 now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're more established, older, and I'm sorry, less attractive than you used to be. So you have less to be concerned about on a Hollywood film set than someone younger, less known, and less experienced.
I mean...
So there are just as many pervs as there were before Me Too. In fact, maybe there are more because it's easier to hide.
We also know now that like the trope wouldn't even be the older director and the young female starlet. It would be the older woman and the younger man. That's the movie they want to make now anyways.
Right. Yeah, they're obsessed with that whole trope. But it's just, it comes off as so out of touch to say this. She's kind of claiming that Hollywood is just perfect now.
She was speaking at Fortune's Most Powerful Women's Summit. Remember, guys, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what year it is, no matter what time of day it is, there is a women's summit going on somewhere. There is somewhere in the world right now, two women are patting each other on the back.
Especially now that it's award show season. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of women's luncheons.
So much back patting.
Women's power luncheon, knitting circles.
Like, you go girly.
But am I really supposed to believe that because of the Me Too movement and Time's Up, that everything in Hollywood is just rainbows, cupcakes, and sunshine now?
Yes, that's exactly what you're supposed to believe.
Like, it's
Through
very
the thinly
clear.
veiled corporate veneer, that's exactly what you're supposed to believe.
Actually, I haven't caught up on this. I haven't watched this episode on Candace Owens' podcast, but she talked about Harvey Weinstein just a couple days ago.
Yeah, they said she's going to start going through.
She wants to kind of do a deep dive on Harvey Weinstein's accusers and, his trial, do a post-mortem on it, and kind of the way that kicked off the Me Too movement, which was more dubious. But she's, I think, right to put a particular focus on Harvey Weinstein because he was chosen, regardless of whether you think he was innocent or guilty of any number of things, he was chosen as a sacrificial lamb for the Me Too movement.
And I think most people would say it's not that they believe he's innocent. It's that there are a million people like him that are also guilty. And they just picked one and said, there you go.
Actually, it would be more accurate to just say Harvey Weinstein was scapegoated for the rampant, licentious wrongdoings of perverts everywhere in the entertainment industry, and he just happens to be the one that is now a household name synonymous with it. The rest of them, for the most part, got away with it, and then the other people who got accused during Me Too were like, hey, I thought this was our culture. Like,
he's like, bro, why did you think I got into this business?
Yeah, exactly. Like, including Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the story that he actually did Louis C.K., Olivia Munn in this movie trailer. Not the trailer, but the actual physical trailer on the set of the movie. Which he probably did. My intuition and my personal opinion is that, yeah, he probably did that. It was 2004, okay? And she's just one of many women who have accused him of similar wrongdoing. So let's just assume that he actually did that. He's probably thinking years later, oh, this is a problem now? Like, I just thought this was like what Hollywood was like. I just thought we were all cool with this.
What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do what's his name? No, never. I'll come back to it. I completely forgot where I was going with that. Lost my like Phil sometimes. He's like lost my
It's okay. It'll come back to you in a couple hours after we're already off air. But I just don't have much patience for this anymore, and I know that most of you probably feel the same. People love dropping hints and breadcrumbing about their different traumatic incidents that happen on Hollywood sets, if you're not going to actually talk about it and out the people who traumatized you and are probably traumatizing other people, we are not interested. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, that's the way.
And
it goes.
honestly, even if you did name them, we also still wouldn't care.
Yeah.
More likely.
Yep. All right, let's move on then.
Millie Bobby Brown is doing promo for her new Netflix movie Electric State at the moment. So she's on a bunch of red carpets, pulling a bunch of different looks, and serving See You Next Tuesday. And a lot of people are bullying her for her appearance right now. She appears to have aged rapidly in recent years. She is still only 22 years old, I believe, and somehow looks twice her age depending on the photo that you're looking at. It might just be that she's doing something different with her makeup. Maybe she's getting fillers or Botox, which they call preventative nowadays. I have no idea, but she definitely, I didn't want to admit it at first. She definitely looks older than her age. I'm going to just admit the haters are kind of onto something. At the SAG Awards, she was wearing this updo and a pink gown, and a lot of people were commenting about how she looks like she's in her 30s or 40s.
They said she looks like Jennifer Coolidge.
This is a different appearance. Do you have the SAG
Yes.
Awards appearance?
This one?
This one.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, when I saw this video, I didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she looks
Yes, she looks
older?
Yes, she does.
What is it then about her that tells you that?
I mean, but not in like a necessarily a negative way. Not in the way that like Bonnie Blue looks twice her age.
What is it that indicates that? I'm just trying to understand, like, what is it about?
The makeup looks like she's wearing makeup to cover up wrinkles when there are no wrinkles to cover up.
I feel like she's been getting dressed for older than her age ever since the beginning of her career as a child star, though, and that's just how she's always
that's just
looked.
some people's genetics. And here's the thing: she's married to She's married to Bon Jovi's son, and Bon Jovi has looked old his entire life too. So when they have kids, those kids are going to come out with canes and AARP cards.
There was
They're
also
gonna look old from the
this,
beginning.
Photo of her with her husband at the Electric State premiere. Do you have that? That one, when I saw that, I was like, okay, fine. They're right. She definitely looks older than her age now. They said it's so confusing. What happened in the past 10 days that she looks like this?
It's all that.
It's also what
you know
she's
what it
wearing.
was? It was like she had to work on Stranger Things for all that time.
The
She's
Netflix
like,
contract just beat the life out of her.
She's like, I'm just done with it. She's
Yeah.
not everybody can be Ralph Macchio on Cobra Kai looking half his age at 60. You know.
And pull up the paparazzi photos again, because that was actually crazy. Can you like zoom in on that?
I don't know if we can zoom.
She actually looks like a different person in that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even be one of these people who's exaggerating for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have recognized her in that photo.
Yep.
And this was just a random paparazzi
she's
shot.
wearing, it looks like she's wearing Juicy Couture from 2007. She's channeling
with
early
her
2000s.
pig
Yeah.
slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was Jennifer Coolidge. It's not nice, but it's also true. Another one said she's beautiful, but whoever is styling her is doing no favors.
So
she needs
she
to
probably-
fire them ASAP. Wrong outfits, wrong makeup, wrong hair choices are aging her way beyond her years.
Maybe
and
she's
she
got
deserves
Millie,
better.
Maybe she's got Margot Robbie's stylist. Margot Robbie, whose stylist is always working against her.
Well, the problem with Margot Robbie is that she never does her hair. But she always looks gorgeous. I wouldn't ever say that Margot Robbie looks older
No,
than
we
her
make
age.
not that. I'm saying we make the joke that whoever dresses her, like,
It's not great.
picks the worst outfits possible for her.
Yeah. Another one said, why does she look like she's about to sell me a house in Florida?
She does. No, she looks like she would be on a bus bench, like for a real estate agent.
She looks like she carries around like one of those bedazzled Starbucks cups, maybe.
Yeah.
And she carries that around.
Look, there's a huge market on
in, like,
Instagram now
Target.
for like annoyingly over the top like realtors who make like high value productions with like drones of them, but it's really just like like a crypto thirst trap to try and get you to buy a house because you're a poor schmuck. Like, you should not be doing that.
She looks like she could be maybe
Avon. She looks like she sells Avon.
A young Florida grandma if she started early.
Yeah. Oh, yes, right there. Al B says she sells Mary Kay. Yeah, she does look like she sells Mary Kay or Avon.
She went from 18 to 43 and 2 divorces pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like she's already...
I thought this was Susan Summers.
She already looks like she's had like phases of alcohol in her life. Like, she had her clear liquor phase, and she had her brown liquor phase, and now she's kind of sober and good.
Do you think she's just getting work done prematurely, and that could be something?
It doesn't look like work. It looks like makeup. It looks like it's the makeup in the hair.
Maybe it's the fact that she's British. The British aren't known. She's not best aging.
Yeah, but she's also she's not even as dark as like the tans that a lot of the British women get.
Yeah, right? Like, she doesn't look distinctly British either because she's basically been Americanized at this point. But I don't know. Life is not treating her well.
No. What it is, though, is this could be one of those things where, due to technology and in the medical industry, she'll look that age for the next 20 years. Maybe. Like, she could just stop aging. Yeah. And look this way forever.
She gets compared to a young Natalie Portman.
It's so weird looking at like movies and television shows with actors, and I see the aging in them now that I did not see with certain actors, where some actors look like they're timeless and they don't age at all. Some of them, I notice it right away, and I'm like, holy crap, what? Not even in a bad way. It's not even like they don't look good still.
Yeah.
They just look older than I imagined they would look at that time.
Have you seen George Lopez lately?
Yeah, I did.
Holy
that was
shit.
amazing.
He looks like a homeless vagrant.
So he looks like Albert Einstein.
Yeah. He has not aged well. Yeah. It's even coming to Tom Cruise at this point.
But he's in his
but he's frozen in time for a couple decades at least, and now it's finally catching up with him.
These it really depends on how you treat your body.
Best toupee in the business.
Tom Cruise. Yeah. It depends on how you treat your body, right? Like, one of the things
he has a toupee that's glued on so tightly he can go skydiving in it.
That's a fair point. He's like, look, I don't have to worry about it. Like, I watch a lot of like wrestling interviews these days, and some of those guys, because of the drugs and the partying when they're younger, they age so horribly. Yeah. And some of them look as the same as they did before. So I watched interviews with Road Dogg Jesse James and Billy Gunn. They were tag team partners back in the 90s. And Road Dogg is like, first of all, he had like the best interview that I've seen out of all of that. It's fantastic. But he looks his age. He looks like he's in his 60s, maybe even a little bit older. His tag team partner, Billy Gunn, looks like he's still in his 40s. Does not look like he's in his 60s, and started competing in like bodybuilding events in his 50s. So if you treat your body like a temple, it goes a long way. But sometimes that doesn't even like, a lot of times we're not even talking about physical or physique. We're talking about just their face. Yeah. And you can't, like, the lines are going to come for you no matter what.
I will say I am really sick of the way that women are doing their makeup these days. Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like young people used to figure that shit out for themselves instead of looking at YouTube videos since they were like 8.
Maybe, I mean, I have no idea if this is true or not because I'm not a girl. I don't wear makeup. But I imagine that, like, you do better to, like, figure it out by looking at your own reflection, finding out what works, than
or looking at people
looking
you
at
know
other
in real
people
life.
And then assuming that what works for them works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On another note, Millie Bobby Brown says that she would love to play Britney Spears in an upcoming biopic.
She can play Britney Spears as a teenager and Britney Spears as a 40-year-old. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's a no.
It's a no from you?
Britney is 43.
What about young Pamela Anderson?
No.
No?
They don't look alike. They don't look alike. I mean, we'll get to this too when we're talking about Bhad Bhabie and Alabama Barker, but it's like the makeup trends are not doing them any favors these days.
Look, aging comes for us all.
But she's not aging. That's the weird thing.
But I'm saying, like, but the thing is like, if
There's
you can't,
nothing-
if you can't accept it when you're in your 20s, you're definitely not going to be able to accept it when you're in your 40s.
She's 21 and hasn't even stopped producing collagen in her face yet.
Jeremy,
So-
we would call the Britney Spears movie, Jeremy Briggs, Dances with Knives.
Oh no. Was that ever confirmed, or that was still a rumor that they were working on that? Because I remember people were talking about casting ideas when it was still a rumor.
Men also have something else going for them, which is to just grow a beard. If you want to hide
Just hide everything.
if you want to hide everything,
Even if you get fat, you can grow a beard and
that's what I do.
hide the double chin. Yeah, that's a cheat code.
That's what I've done. All right. What would you like to see? Because we had 2 cringes, so maybe we'll do one.
We'll sandwich it.
We'll sandwich it. All right.
You found a cringe for once, so
I did.
I'm curious to see what could be so horrifying.
Okay, guys. So this is your sign to smash fascism.
Oh, I really need it.
I'm going to mute it so that we can. So it says the patriarchy, fascism. If you guys are listening, she's like hitting a bumper of a car.
Internalized
capitalism, sexism. She doesn't really look like she's ever swung a hammer before. But here's the thing. I was curious, and somebody asked the question. They said, what the hell is internalized capitalism? And she responded, it is essentially when we take some of the messages of capitalism, like productivity and the constant hustle, and internalize it. So if you are off on the weekends and relaxing, but feel guilty or shame that you aren't somehow being productive, that's internalized capitalism. We aren't built to be productive 100% of the time. Neither should we be striving no to get there. Fighting internalized capitalism would be allowing yourself to rest without the looming feeling of guilt, if that makes sense. She's actually historically wrong, and given the fact that before the Industrial Revolution, you kind of like had to hunt and kill your own food, you actually were designed to be working all the time.
Well, that's actually why I think, Marxism is a direct result of like the nihilism that resulted from the Industrial Revolution.
No, unfortunately, you can't turn the clock back
No,
and start over.
It looks like she's doing like that carnival game where you try to, hit the top of the meter.
Well, just like I said, whenever time I see Cynthia Erivo in her nails, I think it's that carnival game where you throw the rings on the Coke bottles. Every time I see Cynthia Erivo do this, I want to throw rings at her.
She does look like someone who would be in a freak show. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do cute of the day then. Here we go. This one's from Allie. It says, my coworker and organizer, Donnie, watching the Benny show. I guess they're watching Benny Johnson with my hope as future governor, Byron Donalds. All these people that I don't know.
He looks like he's being very productive.
He is. He looks like he's helping. I like it. Cool.
He doesn't have internalized capitalism.
He does. No, he's like, you do the capitalism. You do the capitalizing, I'll do the resting.
Yeah.
All right. And then we've got this one that you said. It says, this doesn't even faze me.
Inside, and I'm just trying to fuck. Ooh, 'cause you want you to be my girl. Let's just make it work. You'll be my first girl.
I mean, let's face it. Like, he's at a disadvantage right now because I can't hear the backing track.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fuck.
You know what? Let's just.
Here's the thing. Olivia, if you're watching right now, I know we're looking for a DJ for the wedding.
This is the guy.
This is the guy.
He really gets into the performance.
I will fly that guy out to the wedding to be our DJ. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get started then.
We have the first confirmed casting announcement for J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series over at HBO Max. It is John Lithgow, confirmed to play Dumbledore. And currently he is 79, so this is kind of going to be how he closes out his acting career, as this is a multiple year-long commitment. He gave a comment saying, "It came as a total surprise to me. I just got the phone call up at the Sundance Film Festival for yet another film, and it was not an easy decision because it's going to define me for the last chapter of my life, I'm afraid. But I'm very excited. Some wonderful people are turning their attention back to Harry Potter. That's why it's been such a hard decision. I'll be about 87 years old at the wrap party, but I've said yes."
I mean, that's assuming that it goes to plan.
Yeah.
And like that
At
is
this rate.
bold. That is a bold prediction to believe that there's like, look, you can't. Millie Bobby Brown looks 45 and started Stranger Things like a
When she was,
decade
like,
ago.
10.
Like things on streaming, the whole trope on streaming is to say like, I'm sick of this 8 episodes every 3 years. Like they're going to have to be militant in getting this show done because those kids, like they have to hire actors who are just about to start growing.
Yeah.
Like they're working against the clock constantly.
So he's going to be probably wheelchair bound and eating applesauce on the last season of Harry Potter on HBO Max.
Yeah.
No, if all goes according to plan, it should be fine, but he's the only casting announcement they've made so far. The first point of contention being, obviously, the elephant in the room is he is American, and that's something that J.K. Rowling used to feel very strongly about, is that people who star in any Harry Potter property ought to be British.
These were some examples of some actors whose names I'm not even going to try to pronounce, who were not British. The actress who played Fleur Delacour, the actor who played Igor Karkaroff, the actor, the Dark Wizard in Order of Phoenix, and then of course, the guy who played Victor Crumb were all, it was French, Serbian, German, and Bulgarian.
But just generally, European would be the precedent. There were no Americans.
From what I understand, Christopher Columbus, who directed the first movie's daughter, had like a non-speaking role. It was a Nepo thing, but not a speaking role, not a major role.
No Americans have had speaking roles before in any Harry Potter.
At least as far as I know. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, some people are upset about that, but most of these responses are mainly upset that John Lithgow decided to work with J.K. Rowling for obvious reasons.
There is also precedent for him. I believe he was he did a British accent in The Crown and was actually it was spoken of very highly that he was able to nail it. It's a lot more common for for British people to have to do like turn on a TV right now, you're most likely watching a British person putting on an American accent. It used to be unique when a British actor would do an American accent. It's not anymore. Pretty much all of them do.
Who is the one that played Rick Grimes?
Like Millie Bobby Brown, for example.
Who is the actor that played Rick Grimes in the
Andrew Lincoln.
I had no clue until years later that he was British. I had no idea.
The actress in Reacher season 3 who's doing the Brooklyn accent is from the UK as well. And I was like, oh, I mean, maybe she grew up in Brooklyn. I don't know, but it's good.
Well, look, I mostly have beef with John Lithgow because he played a role in the movie Conclave about the transsexual Pope. But most of these responses are angry about him working with J.K. Rowling because she's a transphobe. Here were some of the responses, some of the most unhinged responses. Spending the last few years of your life starring in a TV show remake of the racist Turf Wizard franchise is kind of crazy.
Wait, why is she racist?
I don't know.
She made Hermione black and
the anti-Semitism tropes, I guess.
Oh, the Gringotts goblins.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Congratulations on your new Nazi transphobe titles. Hope the money is worth it, Mr. Lithgow.
See, this is what I'm talking about when I say that Harry Potter transcends. Like, they can claim that it's synonymous with transphobia all they want. They are wrong. The average everyday person just wants to bring their kids to the Universal Park to go see the wizarding stuff, to the WB. They don't give a crap.
Beer.
They don't give a crap.
Defining the last chapter of your life by growing the wealth and influence of one of the world's foremost bigots is not a great statement to be making. I really hope he's just blissfully unaware. there is no way that he is blissfully unaware. I mean, at this point, if you're working with J.K. Rowling, you're very much up to date and up to speed.
If
on
you're not,
her
your
thoughts.
agent isn't doing his job.
No, I mean, he almost certainly knows exactly what he's getting himself into.
And he said,
maybe,
cha-ching.
Maybe he said, cha-ching,
The
like the
money
money
is
is
too much,
worth
yeah.
it. Or he said, there's kind of a cultural vibe shift happening right now where people are less likely to sympathize with the, issues of an extremely small marginal group that in fact has its own problems that need to be addressed. Another person said, homeboy wants to be defined as a piece of shit. F Lithgow for working for a transphobe then. Gonna be honest here, this is an obvious boycott situation, and if you watch this show, legitimately F you. Any adult who willingly participates in this project should be shunned for the rest of their careers. In Lithgow's case, it's not like he has much longer anyways.
Okay, so with a snarky comment like that, why would he listen to you anyways?
You have a watermelon and a hammer and sickle in your username.
Yeah. Just remember that they tried to boycott the last Harry Potter game Hogwarts Legacy. I just referenced that in a video the other day. They tried to boycott Hogwarts Legacy, and it did buku bucks. It made a ton of money.
So that's not really a viable option for the J.K. Rowling haters anymore. They proved themselves incapable of handicapping her in the public eye. And she made tons of money off of that.
Aren't these people still trying to boycott Starbucks?
Yeah,
I feel like the Starbucks boycott is still going on.
They can't even stop themselves from getting Starbucks Frappuccinos when there's a genocide going on in Gaza.
They are downsizing at Starbucks. I saw they took 13 drinks off the menu, and
Which drinks?
I don't know.
Should I be worried?
You should be worried.
Oh no, I need to check on that. Lastly, an open letter to John Lithgow. Please walk away from Harry Potter. This was written by a fan of John Lithgow's named Danica Ellis for Book Riot. And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but here were some parts.
You think there's some points to be made here?
I think genuinely from the perspective of a trans advocate, you would be able to say that John Lithgow is a hypocrite for this. Okay. Not that I particularly care, but he is hypocritical, and I found out why from reading this letter. If I could tell my teenage self the news that you'd be playing Dumbledore in an upcoming TV adaptation of Harry Potter, she would be so excited. But when I heard the casting news in 2025, my stomach dropped. In your career, you have played memorable LGBTQ characters, and you've talked about being surrounded by LGBTQ friends and loved ones in your life. You were nominated for an Academy Award in 1982 for playing a trans character. This was Roberta Muldoon, a trans woman character in The World According to Garp. In this interview, John Lithgow said he decided to underplay everything and make her a perfectly normal person who feels more herself than she's ever been. Now, I thought that it was transphobic for a cis person, if you even accept such categorization, to play a trans character. But regardless,
that one is more of a discussion that, look,
in
right
1982, his heart was in the right place.
But the thing is, though, is now, you know how we joke about if you're talking about cancel culture, like you're just jumping on the bandwagon like 2 years too late, and it's not even really a discussion anymore. The same is true when you talk about like straight actors playing gay characters. Like nobody, like it's one of those things now where gay actors signal their neutrality by saying, I don't care who plays the gay character as long as the actor is good.
Right.
It's taking a stand without taking a stand because nobody cares anymore. The trans discussion about straight or I guess cis actors, that's their word, cis actors playing trans people, that is still very much a discussion.
Right.
That they like to have.
So I guess that was just glossed over here.
Yeah.
In 2014, you played a gay man in Love is Strange, and in interviews you talked about how many gay men felt inspired by your portrayal. You also mentioned you support LGBTQ rights, saying nobody in society should have to hide who they are or feel like they're second-class citizens in any way.
I wonder if serial killers felt seen when he played the Trinity Killer in Dexter.
I'm sure they felt inspired and seen, heard, and validated by that.
That would be my guess.
recently you were the eponymous character in Jimpa, a gay grandfather to a non-binary grandchild. The movie was directed by Sophie Hyde, and wait for it, this was inspired by the director's own life as the daughter of a gay father and the parent of a trans non-binary child. Hey, those things don't exist. Your child isn't non-binary or trans.
Well, that's one of the things that they...
You just have Munchausen's by proxy. In fact, her child, the non-binary grandchild in question, Aud Mason Hyde, starred alongside you as your character's grandchild and was involved in production. Sophie Hyde said the movie took on a new importance because of the recent increase in anti-trans vitriol. Throughout your career, you have demonstrated your love and acceptance of the LGBTQ community. Right now, trans people and trans young people especially are facing an attack on their rights and well-being. J.K. Rowling is one of the loudest voices leading the charge against them. They go through her track record. They're going through everything that she said about, trans identity and saying that children cannot identify as trans, etc. They also reiterated that she is very much involved in the production of HBO's Harry Potter series to confirm that she is, in fact, making a huge amount of money off of it in the long run. Thanks to J.K. Rowling's actions, Harry Potter as a franchise has become synonymous with transphobia.
I mean, I would like to know...
In the real world, that is completely untrue.
Yes. I mean, I don't even care what she thinks of casting someone like him who's taken those roles. I want to know what she feels about casting an American. That's what I want to hear. That's a more interesting discussion to me.
Well, I think that based on everything they laid out here in this letter, John Lithgow is a hypocrite for working with J.K. Rowling because, he wanted to chase the bag instead of standing by his principles, which he has been outspoken about for decades, and not just supporting gay people in the 80s like everyone else did, but supporting the existence of trans and non-binary children recently. That is something that he has recently made his, chosen pet issue to support. And, given that he's now working with J.K. Rowling, who has spoken out justifiably so against that type of abuse, he chose money over his principles.
I wonder if this is one of those situations where one of the things that happens all the time whenever an actor gets pulled, especially an older actor gets pulled into a superhero franchise, they say, my grandkids wanted me to do it. My kids said, you have to be in Iron Man. You have to be in this. You have to be in that. What was it, William Hurt was saying that about being Thunderbolt Ross? I might be misremembering that. But a lot of
Didn't Jeff Bezos literally say that his son was excited about Rings of Power?
Wanting to buy Lord of the Rings. But the point is, maybe his grandkids or his kids were like, hey, I love Harry Potter. You should play Dumbledore.
Yeah,
that's me. I'm assuming he has kids. I have no idea.
That doesn't mean that it makes much sense for him to work with someone who allegedly, in his worldview, is a violent anti-trans bigot. Yeah. And that's not what I think about J.K. Rowling, but that's clearly what he thinks about J.K. Rowling and is willingly working with someone who he believes is an actual supervillain because he wanted a paycheck, and that's a valid point that they're making. That's why I'm writing to you today, asking for you to walk away from your role in Harry Potter. Your name lends credence to the adaptation and by extension helps to grow J.K. Rowling's platform to further her crusade against trans people's rights. Stepping away would send a message to trans young people that they matter more than a fantasy franchise. It would align with the values you've shared throughout your career, both in interviews and in your performances. I hope you choose to stand with trans young people like Aud Mason Hyde. LGBT people and trans kids and teens in particular could use your support now more than ever.
Yeah.
And they're asking people to share this on social media so that John Lithgow will see it, as if that man even has a smartphone.
I mean, my guess is that his logic would be, look, they're not making a movie that is anti-trans. We're making a television series that just happens to be made by somebody who has made specific viewpoints known, specifically as relates to trans youth. As J.K. Rowling has said many times, that she doesn't really care if you're an adult. It's the stuff with kids that really bothers her.
Well, she does say other things about the behavior
Yes.
of trans-identifying adults, but believes that they should be allowed to identify that way.
So, I mean, he's maybe taking the more nuanced approach here, but activists are not usually known for their nuance.
No, I mean, look, if you played a queer character in a movie that features a trans child, you're an ideologue on that specific issue. So, yeah,
He's
this
like,
guy,
yeah, but wizards.
This guy is deranged, clearly, and definitely is opposed to J.K. Rowling on this issue that clearly matters deeply to both of them.
The best thing that you could possibly do right now, guys, is try to get like a press pass when they start doing the screenings and see if you can catch photos of them together. And
Yeah. Well, look, if you think that any of these people screeching online are going to be any more forgiving to the children who are cast in this series, you're wrong. I can see it already that those kids are going to be targeted not only online but also by journalists.
Yep. All right. Let's go to some super
I
chats.
can already tell.
Guys, let's get to a crisis party, huh?
Yeah. what
Come
the hell?
on.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. Brett, I trust you got drunken fries last night. And Mary, I trust you got the nachos Belgrande and birthday churro." Yes, I did.
Not only did I get drunken fries, Olivia got they're like the
What?
churro, like they're
Actual churros.
like churro fries that you dip into like
Are they the size of a French fry?
Yeah.
They're so tiny though.
It's like, and you dip it in like the
In like,
what do you call it? Icing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy work.
By the time I was done, I was like, fuck. I was like,
In a bad way?
I was like, bro, like, did you have to do that? Like, 'cause she's like, well, I get this. She's like, will you have some with me? I'm like, yeah, I'll have a couple. And she eats like 3 of them. And she's like, I don't want the rest. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm not gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
I got principles.
I tweeted about this recently. Like, the 4-word question that every woman wants her man to ask her is, "You gonna finish that?"
Yeah, dude.
Like, that's what you were there for. You
was
were
like-
the human dumpster.
and
You were the
then-
human garbage disposal.
It's like, and the thing is, like, whenever I get the drunken fry, like, and here's, I've been good lately. I do less carbs. Like, I try to cut out the carbs wherever I can. I still don't eat healthy, but I try to cut out the carbs wherever I can. That's literally all drunken fries are. Is like nothing but carbs.
Well, there's cheese.
And then I'm done by like the time the movie starts, and
Hey.
I'm suitably comatose.
Potatoes are a better carb for you than bread.
Yeah. Well, so more French fries. Good. Perfect.
That's basically health food. I mean, I don't know. What does eating clean mean anyway?
Yeah.
I would just call yesterday a cheat day, even though I don't work out.
Yeah.
How about that?
And then like the thing is I would never have gotten like the churro fry. It's just I don't buy like dessert type foods. But now,
Next time you're gonna be like thinking about it.
even if we're going on financial terms, I'm like, well, we got the tickets for $7, so
I mean,
we can afford to.
that's why they give you the $7 tickets so that you'll buy more food.
Shit.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan. Mr. Moose Knuckles said Bonesaw is ready.
I did see the super chat that came in yesterday, right at the end of the show yesterday, about Bonesaw. Oh yeah, from Spider-Man 2.
I didn't see that
Macho
super
Man
chat.
Randy Savage.
I guess we missed it. Brian Bledsoe said, check out the Simple Favor sequel that just dropped. Blake Lively as the villain is not acting for her.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I haven't watched it yet.
They dropped the trailer?
They dropped the trailer, yep.
The production in charge of that movie must be loving this press around Blake Lively right now.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
It's so perfect.
It would be horrible for a big budget movie, but
yeah.
it's freaking great for a small budget movie. Like
for the
if
streaming movie.
if this was like a big budget movie where you had to worry about people like opting out at the theaters, sure. But people at home are like, yeah, she's like a piece of shit, but
But she plays a villain.
she's like,
in the movie.
You know what it is? The guy who's like, I would never watch that movie. Looks left.
Yeah, I mean, even if it were going to theaters, it would still do better based on her media attention.
I'm sorry. Spider-Man 1.
We have
Spider-Man
a 20 from Value in You. Mary, we respectfully request you do either Whining Shakira or British Lady, both epic. What do you mean?
Which one is Whining Shakira?
I don't know. I just apparently people think that I did an impression of Shakira on IRL that was really good. And
what did it sound like?
I don't know. I don't know what it sounded like. And I didn't think I was doing
She has a very
anything.
unique voice, so.
Her accent.
Yeah,
I mean, and then British Lady, like I don't know.
They're ripping me apart in the chat for saying Spider-Man 2 rather than Spider-Man 1. Yeah, obviously he didn't even have the full Spider-Man costume, so whoops.
I want to watch A Simple Favor though.
You should review it on here.
I need to go back and watch the first one for the second one to make any sense. It's called Another Simple Favor.
Do 2 more.
Shane H. Wilder said, I told ya I tried to suffer so you didn't have to. Well, it's not that I hated the birthday cake churro. It's that it was so underwhelming. Like, it was almost too fake. And I am loath to say that. But it was like, what am I even, like, eating right now? This is like some non-food material.
Better off with the caramel apple empanada.
They got rid of those again. I never even had one.
So good.
Weary Traveler said, what about Eminem versus ICP?
I forgot about that too. Yeah.
They had a beef over what?
I don't even know how any of this stuff started back in the day.
And they say white people don't have culture.
Yeah. Just because I've been going to Detroit in Michigan. That's where ICP is from, right? They're from out that way? Or am I wrong about that? From Michigan. Where are they from? I don't claim them.
I don't know.
I never will.
All
right. I mean, maybe that's why they have beef with Eminem. I have no idea. Guys, where's ICP from?
Tell us.
All right, let's move on.
All right. I regret to inform you that Bhad Bhabie and Travis Barker's daughter, Alabama Barker, are in the middle of the stupidest rap beef of all time.
Beef,
yeah. Bhad Bhabie said, "Cash me outside" to Alabama Barker. And although these are grown women, they have grown up in the public eye, and it just feels like I'm watching children fighting right now. Like their dads need to step in and resolve this for them on the playground.
Maybe the moms should step in.
Or their moms.
Like the dads would come up and give the boys a firm smack on the back of the head.
You know what?
Go home.
You know who needs to settle this beef? Dr. Phil. It'll be the full circle moment for the viral Cash Me Outside clip. Finally, Danielle Bregoli comes back to the set of Dr. Phil. Alabama Barker comes out. The crowd is screaming. And they can finally hash this all out in a civil manner with Dr. Phil's help. Dr. Phil, by the way, should feel guilty for creating Bhad Bhabie. He actually launched her into global fame and made her the monstrosity that she is today, and didn't help her at all. She was 13 years old on that show and going down a bad path, and he just made everything exponentially worse. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, if you look at Alabama Barker here, she looks like she's doing some type of Jersey Shore version of Dune.
Yeah, can you pull up some more pictures of Alabama on just some more recent photos of her?
I mean, I don't have any pulled up, but I can
just find some photos to illustrate the point of who we're talking about here. They are in the middle of a public feud right now, which I would call the Cookie Monster pajama pants of all feuds.
Yeah, it's the methadone feud. It's the methadone clinic feud.
Ghetto white girls who talk about Zone 6. They are pretending to have a feud over a baby daddy, even though they're both millionaires. Yeah. So you see some of these pictures, she looks like not even a person. She's just a carbon copy of every ghetto white girl.
Or she looks like she would be in Leeds and she'd say slag.
She almost looks British. You're right. I see it. So the latest iteration of this public feud going on between them is Bhad Bhabie's diss track titled Miss Whitman. Ironically, that is a reference to Alabama's name. She was named after the prostitute in Quentin Tarantino's movie True Romance.
By the way, that was who I didn't bring it up because it would have been completely an aside, but that's who I was thinking of when we were talking about the Hollywood thing earlier. I was thinking of the people who did it smart in Hollywood. It was Quentin Tarantino, where he just casts himself in a movie where he has to drink champagne from Salma Hayek's foot.
We have another 20 from High Voltage 75. I don't eat Taco Bell often, but I decided to live Moss for lunch today. 4 crunchy tacos, 2 chicken quesadillas, and yes, the churros. Churros got a mid plus because they were at least warm. Rate my order, Mary. R.I.P. my bowels. Hope you're okay. I never get those things, but it sounds nice.
I'm being
the
slandered
churros
in
were
the
not
chat.
necessary, and I also got a cold churro, so maybe that colored my opinion.
That might have hurt. I'm being slandered in the chat by Sandy Pasta, who's calling me a juggalo, which I take particular offense to.
I would never say that about you, Brett.
Continue.
So let's just have a little history lesson on the brain rot. Yeah, it's basically started in December 2024 when Bhad Bhabie split up with her baby daddy, whose name is Levon. And we don't know exactly the backstory behind why they split up, but after they did, they got into a physical fight, and she ended up cheating on him, leading them to spend 2 weeks apart, at which point Levon met Alabama Barker. Then Bhad Bhabie claims she tracked Levon's car. I don't know why she has a tracker on her baby daddy's car.
Maybe she works for the CIA.
But yeah, she has connections. And she could tell that it entered Alabama Barker's neighborhood, leading Alabama to admit that she and Levon linked a few times. But she thought that he was someone else. She had no idea that she was hooking up with Bhad Bhabie's baby daddy.
All of this is fine and good, but it's leading to like music videos getting made where I guess at the very least you can make the argument that in the methadone clinic feud of all time, at least there's jobs being created.
It's a white girl off.
It's at least there are people who are getting a paycheck out of this because somebody has to shoot the video. I'm sure she didn't write the song herself.
Oh no, I think that Bhad Bhabie did. She has some real lyrical capabilities.
Okay.
So, Alabama is essentially the home wrecker that split Bhad Bhabie away from her baby daddy.
We need the teen mom to get involved in this. Farrah.
If they were actually teens, that would help.
Well, no, she needs to come in as like a cautionary tale. She needs to come in like, look.
You don't want to end up like me.
Well, actually, I did just see an article the other day where she said she's like proud of. I don't know what it was, but the point is she has to come in and be like a cautionary tale. Like, look, if you're not careful,
scared straight,
you're gonna end up like me. You know, that would be a good idea.
But then they would just be like, well, you're rich, so yeah, I want to be you. So Bhad Bhabie started the rap beef first off with a diss track titled "Overcooked" in January, saying, "Bitch, you want my life? You want the dick I get? Everybody know this bitch is weird," which is even more hurtful. She claims on the track that Alabama Barker at some point got pregnant and had an abortion. And she later claimed that she was pregnant by the rapper Tyga, which kind of raises some questions.
Wait, isn't he with...
He used to be with Kylie Jenner. They had a child together. So it's very incestuous. If you don't know, Alabama Barker, being Travis Barker's daughter from a previous relationship, she is now Kourtney Kardashian's stepdaughter. So she's part of the Kardashian clan. Thank you for the first crisis party. You okay?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
You don't look okay.
It's all too much.
Yeah.
It's all too much.
Alabama Barker is officially a member of the Kardashian clan because of, the marriage between her father and Kourtney.
And apparently she was named after a prostitute in a movie.
Yes, she was. Why would you name your daughter after a prostitute in a movie? That's actually really gross. But yeah, so Bhad Bhabie claimed that Alabama was pregnant by Tyga, Kylie Jenner's ex, and that she was effing Soulja Boy as well. Now, Tyga actually had to publicly deny this, saying, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I've never had any sort of physical relationship with Alabama, and it's
like
honestly
half his
ridiculous
age.
I even have to address it." Well, that's the thing. Kylie was 17 when she got with Tyga, so that actually seemed realistic possibility to me. Now, Alabama shot back at Bhad Bhabie with her own diss track titled Cry Baby, which was not as good.
Of course.
She basically just said that she was hooking up with Levon, the baby daddy, but didn't know that it was Bhad Bhabie's baby daddy.
They need,
So,
you know what the problem here is, guys, is they're not passing the Bechdel test.
right.
Maybe the beef would be more
They're
interesting.
centering men.
Maybe if the beef was more feminist, then this would be more interesting.
That is the thing, isn't it? Like, they are, like, completely obsessed with arguing over this guy who is a total loser, right? Like, that's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
When women get into beefs about, like, someone stole someone's boyfriend, somebody, whatever. The guy is the one who cheated, so you don't want to be with him anyway.
I do think
Why are you mad at the girl?
Look, I don't know what the case is with this guy specifically, but they do both kind of look like the type of girls who have sex with drug dealers for drugs, but they're doing it as like a side quest because they could buy their own drugs. So they look like girls
talking about
who have
millionaires.
sex with drug dealers just for fun rather than for drugs.
Well, okay, we're talking about one self-made millionaire and one Nepo millionaire.
Yeah.
Don't you think that they should
Well,
have
that's
a
what she
little
should be-
more decorum?
That's what she should be rapping about then. She should be talking about how Alabama Barker is a Nepo baby.
Right. Easy. So now Bhad Bhabie is fired back with the most recent diss track, Miss Whitman, and she does reference the fact that Alabama is named after a prostitute. She also said that her stanky beep got her kicked out of the Kardashian house. And in the music video, Bhad Bhabie twerks on a lookalike of Travis Barker. There's also a drummer in the video. She fires shots at Kourtney Kardashian, saying, "Your stepmom burnt out. Why she took her sister's second hand," referencing the fact that Travis Barker had a crush on Kim when she was still Paris Hilton's personal assistant. So that was something that really hit home, I'm sure.
We've got a great culture here in America.
Alabama has yet to respond, but what's interesting is that Bhad Bhabie sampled Carnival from Kanye West's recent album on her diss track, and Kanye had to come out and say, hey, I have nothing to do with
like,
this.
leave me out of this
Leave me
shit."
out of this rap beef. I'm innocent.
Yo, none in the middle, none of this AI beef.
I like that he's boomer holding his phone.
Why is he saying it's AI?
I like that he's boomer holding his phone down here.
What is this?
People throwing my voice on things.
got
The
any
whole
you
carnival
got any games
sample.
on this?
I just talked to Travis Barker. I would never be in the middle. I don't even know what's going on. I just got sent a song and asked if I could play the sample. Only reason why I clear anything is because so many people try to stop me. They stop clearances. Everything has been very difficult for me. So I always, anybody asks me for something, I always clear it, but I'm not cool with being put in the middle of all of this at all. So any verse would be going viral using my voice and all that. It's like, I didn't do it.
Yeah. So clearly, if he's saying, I just had a phone conversation with Travis Barker, this is causing Travis Barker so much consternation. Mm-hmm. He's getting involved behind the scenes on his daughter's behalf instead of stopping her from getting involved with all of these people in the first place. And that's the long story short of it all. These are two girls exhibiting such fatherless behavior. And especially Alabama. I mean, if her dad is so worried about this situation, he should have stopped her from making the damn music video in the first place, responding to the first one.
That would require actual parenting.
Right. Whatever happened to that?
She should have her own line of Cookie Monster pajamas.
Yeah.
Like,
or Hot Cheetos. Like her own Taki brand deal. She could have a brand deal with Takis.
And an anime pillow.
I don't think the anime pillow really goes with the archetype we're talking about here.
She could do it. It'd be great. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that Travis Barker and Bhad Baby's dad, or maybe we could just say Travis Barker and Dr. Phil should convene on a peace summit to put this beef to rest. Because clearly these young girls are out of control and need someone with authority to step in and put a stop to all this nonsense.
They need a parent.
Yeah.
They need an adult in the room.
And they need Jesus.
All right. Super chats.
Pop Culture Junkie said, regarding Captain America, the Sidewinder plot was shoehorned in with reshoots after the disastrous first test screening.
Yeah, the way I saw that was if it had been just at the beginning and not attempted to be worked into so there's the first bit when they're at the church or whatever, and then he shows up again and destroys Cap's car. Like, if it had just been at the beginning, it would have been indicative of like Rumlow in the Chris Evans Captain America movies, where he makes those appearances at the beginning of those films, and I would have actually liked that. But when they included him in more scenes, it felt like he was supposed to continue on. What I would have liked them to do, I think what they should have done, and it would have been indicative on them getting a better actress. Again, I mean no ill will towards this poor young lady, but she just wasn't very good at acting. But what they should have done is they should have made Sabra the evil and in cahoots with Stern. And then what they could have done is she's getting info and getting it back to Stern's. And then at the end, it gives the Secret Service agent, who's just kind of there, a chance to actually have a hero moment where she gets to take down Sabra. It would have been a better use of both of those characters, because she's just really not all that interesting, and she just doesn't really have good line delivery.
Marco said R.I.P. Michelle T saw her first time on Pete and Pete.
Yep.
I never saw that. What is that?
Pete and Pete was a Nickelodeon show. They were talking about it in the chat beforehand, because I didn't have cable growing up, so I had no Nickelodeon shows, but I do know what it is.
200 Watt Studio said Munchausen's by proxy. In regard to... I don't know. Maybe the house episode. Tacty Platty said the Tick episode, didn't they find it in her hoo-ha?
Yes, they did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they did. And literally what happens is they're House has exhausted all his options, and they basically are keep this lunatic away from the patient now. And he pulls her out of the room and gets her into an elevator to get her away from everyone who's trying to get him away from her. And then the elevator door opens and his head is down between her legs. Then he comes up like this and he's got the Tick in his hand. Crazy.
We have a 20 from Zach Hates YouTube. Good afternoon, Brick and Meba. Never heard those before. It's 50 here in Chicagoland. Hope it's nice out there too. Don't forget to try that mild avocado sauce. Also, my name was made in protest after YouTube deleted my account I had since YouTube was created.
Well, okay then. That's a good reason to make that username.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
And so it's been really nice the last couple of days, and it's supposed to continue to be nice the rest of the week until the weekend, and then it's going to go back down to the 30s and the 40s. But the thing is I read this article today. It was after brief summer-like conditions, the Northwest drops to bone-chilling cold again, and it was the 30s or the 40s. I'm that's not bone.
That's bone-chilling.
That's
for
bone-chillingly
me.
cold. That's not.
That's bone-chilling for me.
It's not.
Why does the weather always have to get worse on the weekends every damn time?
It does feel that way sometimes. It's one of the reasons I was so excited I didn't go see Captain America last weekend is it was so nice both days.
Yeah.
I went and skated both of them.
200 Watt Studio said, I'm getting the feeling her mother poisoned her over time. Liver failed because of it. Munchausen's by proxy. Well, that's a little bit of a wild theory there when we don't even know anything yet.
Yeah, that's a very, very big one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with that quite yet. You're going to need to come with more receipts. Wyatt Kaldenberg said, why would a 39-year-old need a new liver?
I mean, there's
I'm sure there are all sorts of reasons.
Yeah, but the point is like it's not...
Alcohol?
Yeah.
Alcohol related?
I mean, usually they don't get a liver transplant
I don't know.
if it's alcohol related.
Who knows?
Do one more.
Wyatt Kaldenberg said, when Me Too was new, I wondered why all these women were posting... Oh, hashtag Me Too. Oh, pound Me Too? Like the pound sign? Then I learned that the pound sign also means hashtag Me Too.
Well, all right then.
You were like the last person who learned what a hashtag was on the planet. I think everyone else was up to speed on that in 2017. Actually, people weren't even really using... No one uses hashtags anymore.
Yeah, so
Elon actually told people, stop using hashtags.
I used it for Captain America yesterday when I made my post about it, and it was so long that it goes on to the second line, and I physically recoiled when I saw it in its final form. It was awful. All right, let's move on.
Everything is falling apart for Meghan Markle while she is desperately trying to build her public image and her brand back together. This is now after news that she renamed her lifestyle brand from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever, and she's still facing some legal troubles with that. But rumor has it her own talent agency, WME, is about to drop her as a client. An industry insider says that Meghan Markle was let go by her talent agency because she was, quote, too demanding and, quote, difficult to work with. And that tracks with other things that we've heard about her behavior behind the scenes.
Do you understand how difficult you must have to be to be considered too difficult to work with in Hollywood? Mm-hmm. That's insane. Insane levels of brattiness. Yes.
I'm sure. And there was a rumor that back in January last year, she had an outburst in a meeting with Ari Emanuel, who runs WME, because she came to this meeting expecting them to have all the ideas for her content already. Like, she didn't have any ideas.
She thought they were just going to dump
She thought they were going to just give her the ideas for her own content, for Archwell, their foundation. And that is not what ended up happening. So she had some kind of emotional episode in front of these people in a professional meeting. But they still deny these claims. WME has said they have no plans to drop her as a client. But still, the entitled behavior that she's been accused of by one of these insiders tracks with her behavior over the years. And recently, a former royal aide who acted as the press secretary for Prince William at the time has now spoken out for the first time since he quit that job and he was embroiled in a huge controversy. He allegedly leaked an email about Meghan Markle's bullying of staff in the royal palace. And that was days before her and Prince Harry sat down to do an interview with Oprah. Yeah. And then that became a whole controversy in and of itself. He was called a liar and dragged, and he wasn't even a public figure at the time. And now he has spoken out with an interview in 60 Minutes saying that he wouldn't change anything and has no regrets. But he's still being very conciliatory. He's being very professional and holding back what he really thinks. Because he's like, I have a lot of good memories working for them. And I'm not going to talk about any of the negative memories.
I mean, it's in his best interest to have discretion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was his email that
discretion is a thing of the
press.
past. Like, if you really think about it, discretion seems like a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Like, nobody seems to realize the benefits of just being able to keep your mouth shut now. Like, everybody, when they get out of any situation, no matter, like, it used to be one thing if you went through a situation that was so bad it made headlines to talk about. But now celebrities just want to bitch about every movie they worked on because somebody looked at them funny. And you're like, who would want to work with you? Like, who would want to work with you when you can't learn to just have a bad experience, say, oh, that sucked. And we're not talking about criminality. We're not talking about people harming them. We're saying they're like, oh, he was a jerk on set. I'm like, so? Nobody cares. No normal person cares. No normal person is going to be like, oh, wow. Unless they really hate that person, say a Meghan Markle, where they're already predisposed to dislike the person. Most people are like, I don't care. You're they're going to already assume that you're rich. They're going to already assume that you're spoiled. There's no benefit to the lack of discretion that seems to be rampant in the industry.
Well, this is a part of the email that was leaked to the press, sent by Jason Knopf at the time, saying, I'm very concerned that the Duchess, Meghan Markle, was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. We have had report after report from people who have witnessed her unacceptable behavior. He was blamed for leaking that email to the press, but my guess is that it was someone else in their staff who leaked it, and then he was thrown under the bus. And now he's speaking out about what it was like to get dragged on Meghan Markle's behalf in the media. And now that she is launching as ever and she is promoting herself on social media so that more people are going to watch her Netflix series, she was seen on her Instagram wearing a peculiar sweatshirt with the logo of her alma mater, Northwestern University, she attended in Chicago. And this happens to be, at least what appears to be, the exact same Northwestern sweatshirt that Princess Diana wore on a visit to Chicago back in 1996. Meghan Markle is allegedly rummaging through her dead mother-in-law's closet.
I literally was picturing her
stealing her clothes.
I was picturing her going down a cellar into a basement like this,
sneaking around, rubbing her
looking
hands
for.
together.
And what she did is she pulled it up. She goes,
the cobwebs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just a replica, but it certainly looks like the exact same one that she's wearing. And I don't know, man. It wouldn't be such a big deal if she weren't already making an effort to manipulate Harry by acting like Diana all the time. Her wearing the same clothes as Diana just adds a whole new layer of Freudian weirdness that I just wasn't prepared for. However, she did actually study at Northwestern University. So
but she puts it on when he wants to be particularly mothered.
Mm-hmm. And this brought forward at least new to me, allegations that Meghan Markle was a part of a hazing incident at her sorority back when she attended Northwestern University, in which she glued another student's eyes shut and perhaps blinded this girl at her sorority. And she ended up getting kicked out, possibly never graduating Northwestern, although it's claimed that she did. And her dad, Thomas Markle, allegedly had to pay a large sum of money to bribe the school to make the story go away. And this is not entirely out of the question, given that her father won the lottery in 1990, not too many years before she started attending the school. He won $750,000 in the lottery.
He couldn't have kept much of that. The state probably took half that.
I don't know. I don't know much about the story.
Probably got $300,000 out of that.
The rumor is that she glued another sorority sister's eyelashes shut.
Why wasn't she cast in Scream Queens?
Here's one theory. Some people stay up all night on social media searching for anything on Meghan so they could share breaking news. But here's what's learned about the situation so far. Using super glue to apply eyelashes, like fake eyelashes, is a thing. There are a lot of similar ingredients in eyelash glue and super glue. Many people have used super glue on purpose. That's insane. You're not supposed to put super glue on your eyes. So the story then originated from there. Then they claim reputable universities don't take bribes. Seriously?
Seriously, bro.
You really expect me to believe that? What was the name of that girl who she was pretending to attend a school and her mom was paying the school off, or it was like a tuition scandal?
Lori Loughlin?
Yeah, her daughter.
No, Lori Loughlin was the one where like
her daughter got accepted in this school
Yeah.
because she bribed the school.
Yeah, and then later, like after she got out of jail, good for her for actually like she's
Doing the time.
doing the time, stand up. Went on to play like a cop in like a Hallmark movie, which is
That's
I love the
crazy
irony.
work. So I mean, yeah, that's I believe it. You
Yeah.
know, sounds like she's actually the embodiment of Chanel Oberlin in Scream Queens for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can run from a track record like this for as long as Meghan Markle has, but it looks to me like it's catching up to her.
And they're not bribes. Remember, they're donations.
Yeah.
They're you know, I imagine
Build
that
a
like,
water
I
fountain.
imagine that half the student centers that are dedicated to somebody is a payoff. Like in this
Right.
country, half the student centers that exist are some form of payoff.
So that person got raped, and that person was about to sue for racism, and every student center represents a new discrimination lawsuit. Title
Pretty
IX
much.
violation.
Title IX, yep.
Yeah, basically. So I don't know how the reception is going to look for Meghan Markle's Netflix series, but it's definitely like I've never seen this much backlash against her online as I do now. If anything, it's just being overshadowed by Blake Lively.
Yeah, they should. You know what they should do? They
Start a
should make a
podcast.
buddy comedy together.
No, Meghan Markle.
And they should make Mean Girls with just those two.
Meghan Markle should make an appearance on Monica Lewinsky's podcast to clear the record.
Yeah.
That would be finally rehabilitating her career.
That would be good.
There's only one person who looks like more of a charlatan than her,
Yeah.
and it's Monica Lewinsky.
Full-throated with Monica Lewinsky.
I think it's called Reclaimed, actually.
Close enough.
She's reclaiming her dress.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Is that what it is? Okay. I think she should lean into it. I think her and Blake Lively should both lean into it, and they should make a movie where they play mean girls who just cause irreparable damage to poor people everywhere. That would be fantastic.
I mean, it's not even acting.
It's not even
just
like
reality.
again, it would come to them very, very easily. It'd be fantastic.
Perfect.
All right, let's guys. We're like a little over halfway to a second crisis party. Sorry, I have to say that. It's
Thank you for
actually in my
saying that.
contract.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder said, speaking of the skip intro button, the final season of Evil, they would put up messages like, if you skip the intro, you will be haunted. LOL.
Yeah,
Would you still skip the intro?
Yes, that's pretty clever marketing, though.
Yeah. Tacty Platty said, Brett, was it pull a Kevin Spacey you forgot?
No. As I said before, it was Quentin Tarantino. I said, he positioned himself perfectly. He's like, look, so Selma Hayek is gonna dump liquid down her leg, and somebody's gonna have to drink it. If it just happens to be me, Quentin Tarantino, who gets cast to do it,
Well, so be it.
so be it.
It's about the art.
He's like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Like, so he's like, I don't trust anybody else to get this
Making
right.
a sacrifice
Yeah.
for the art.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I
he was
actually forgot that it was Judd Apatow that played the prostitute in True Romance.
doing.
She looked so different, but I could tell by the voice.
It was Champagne From Dusk Till Dawn, right? I think it was Champagne. Yeah.
Brian Bledsoe said, did a quick search for women's conference on Eventbrite and saw over 10 in New York today.
Like, somebody should make like a skit where
Let
they're
me
like,
look it up too.
they need to do a skit where somebody's like, you got to come to the women's conference, and they just keep going to the wrong one.
Let's see. I'm looking up women's summit near me. I'm sure there are plenty.
I mean,
Okay.
are there a lot of West Virginia women's summits? Is that what it's called? It's called the Women of West Virginia Summit.
When is Women's History Month? I guess March is Women's History Month. So we're coming up on.
Thank you, Brittany Martini. It was whiskey in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, since you mentioned that, it's Whiskey Women's History Month celebration.
Perfect.
In March.
There you go.
There's West Virginia Chamber of Commerce Women's Leadership Summit coming up in March as well. Then women's empowerment events there's a women's empowerment quarterly roundtable
They need to, like,
going on in Maryland.
See, the thing is, guys, there will be too much backlash if men do this. So you need to turn it into bros. The Bros Leadership Summit. Like, Bros Lead America.
There's a Women We Admire event in Baltimore in March. This is all just in March, by the way.
And you know what they would do?
And only
if you tried
local.
to do a men's summit or a men's history month, you know what they would say? It's like when like when you were a kid and your parents, and it's like Mother's Day, and you go like, why isn't there a Kids Day? They say every day is Kids Day.
Ugh, this is terrible. It's got to stop. Pop Culture Junkie said regarding Captain America, when Shira Haas walks through the aircraft carrier, she has a Captain America uniform underneath her jacket. A jettisoned subplot?
Yeah, it could be. All I know is there was like, it was really weird how they explain who she is, Ruth Bat Saraf, and she's Israeli and she was trained in the Red Room. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense because that was Russian. Whatever. You just make her Mossad. Was there going to be really that much backlash? Were that many watermelons in the comments going to not go to see this movie because you made her Mossad?
There were
you
probably
wouldn't make
people
her Mossad?
who wouldn't watch the movie anyway.
Yeah, like make her
It's
Mossad.
largely women.
Make her a mutant. It would have been awesome.
Tacti Platty said Michael Weatherly aged well over NCIS.
Yeah, he did. He was already on the, like, it's really funny. He was already like on the older side, but some of those actors, man, like there was one that I was watching yesterday. And now it's annoying because I can't think of who it was off the top of my head, but there was somebody I saw yesterday, and there was just crease lines there that weren't there from the stuff that I watched them. But the thing is I watch a lot of stuff from people that were in the 2000s and don't watch a lot of stuff current year. But for instance, I'm watching I really, really like High Potential, and it's got Daniel Sunjata in it. And then I was showing that Olivia would like kind of just be there while I'm watching it. And then I was watching Graceland, which was the first thing I ever saw him in. And that was from 2013, and he looks exactly the same. Like maybe they dyed his beard in the new show, but in general, his face looks exactly the same.
It's comfortable living these days.
Yeah.
You know? Shane H. Wilder said the sledgehammer weighs more than she does.
Yeah.
She was really putting her all into those swings.
I understand that the character is Mossad in the comic. I'm just saying that it's annoying that current year politics prevented them from including that in the plot, because they really only made mention of it once, where they did the annoying thing. I hate this, where in the movie, Ross brings in Sam to talk to him because he wants to get him to restart the Avengers. And then this is after the attack, and Saraf comes into the room with them, and he goes, "This is Ruth Bat Saraf. She's my security." I'm like, why would you you're the president. You don't have to introduce anyone to anyone. Like, it was clearly done to like, hey, you, the audience, this is who that is. It would have made more sense for Sam to
writing.
It would have made more sense for Sam to clock because he asked her to leave and the president says she stays. It would have made more sense for him to be like, tell her to leave. And he goes, no, she stays. And then Sam asks Joaquin to like do some research. Who is the president's head of security? And then he says, this is who that is. This is her history. It made no sense for the president to be like, this is the name of my head of security. It was very poor writing.
Netflix Tide Pod exposition screenplay right there. Shane H. Wilder said, is dude having a stroke? Does he smell burnt toast? What?
Oh, I don't remember what we were talking about at that point.
I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, breaking Harry.
Oh, it was the guy. It was the singer.
Oh, yeah. Probably. Breaking, Harry the Bigfoot from Harry and the Hendersons is distancing himself from his film co-star John Lithgow for cryptozoological phobia.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little
canceled
cryptozoology.
Austin Brown said Lithgow was in Cabrini from Angel Studios recently.
Well, I heard they were Italian. I heard she was Italian.
Weird that he was in Conclave and Cabrini.
Well, I was saying, to the artists, they really are a lot of the times blank slates that just like the idea of exploring a character without thought to what it means ideologically.
Sure. Brian Bledsoe said Disney has said that Daredevil season 2 will be next year and will be an annual series. Also, it blew my mind to hear Hugh Laurie years later after House.
Yeah, that is true. He's that's one of the better examples, but there's so many now of British actors that are on TV that are very clearly very good at doing the American accent. And as for Daredevil, I got to say, there's a particular character, given what I've been hearing about season 1 of Born Again, there is a character who I feel is not long for this world, and I hope it doesn't happen. But I'm not going to spoil that because I don't know for sure.
We have a 20 from Zach Hates YouTube. Damn, bro, I just realized you guys were talking about Harriet the Spy. She was a childhood crush and always enjoyed her on screen, especially that episode of House and Eurotrip. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I never saw Eurotrip, so I know what they're
Is that a
talking
movie?
about. Yeah, it's a movie. I never saw it, though.
I don't know why. That just sounds like a movie that I want to watch. Would I like it?
No.
No?
No.
Why?
Because you don't like crude humor.
No, I watched In-Betweeners.
Okay. I mean, maybe if you like
You don't even know anything about me, Brett. You don't know, like, you know my name, not my story.
Usually I know, I'm usually pretty good at knowing what I think you wouldn't like. Not necessarily what you would like, but I can usually tell what you wouldn't like.
If it's humor, what's wrong with that?
Do you ever watch American Pie?
No.
Okay. Maybe watch American Pie and let me know what you think.
Okay. No Control said they need the Adam Ray version of Dr. Phil. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means. Sorry. Tacti Platty said Brett looks so done with the baby Bama drama. The bad baby Bama baby mama
Baby Bama.
drama.
Baby Bama mama baby drama.
This should be a different language. Wyatt Caldenberg said Giant Eagle was handing out Coca-Cola's new sugar-free drink, Orange Cream. It tastes like an orange cream ice cream bar. Total baby boomer nostalgia.
Sign me up.
Maybe you should try it. Give
Yeah.
us a taste test on the show. Dr. Larcena said, Brett, I swear that was the weirdest laugh squeak ever. Can you do that again?
Yes. There was a really funny comment
You're
the
not
other
going
day
to?
where somebody said Brett needs to do more push-ups to get rid of the squeak in his voice, and I was like, I'm going to ban this motherfucker.
Did you?
No. But
All about
like
freeze
I am
peach
very
here.
good at like I take a second. Like I don't do the thing where you get the anger and then you immediately respond. I'm like, take a moment. Take stock of your life. This comment means nothing. See, the thing is, my logic is always like I have a hard time. Like I'm horrible at responding or to anybody who says something nice. So responding to people who are rude is like spitting in the face of the people who are actually nice to you. Like it just proves that people only want to interact with the negativity. Like people say nice things all the time, and you're just like, oh, thanks. But if then somebody says one thing mean to you, and you're like, I'm gonna write a freaking novel, no.
We have another from Zach Kate's YouTube. She's smoking hot in Eurotrip. I believe you. Unfortunately, she is cold now.
Bad.
Yeah. Greg Duvier said, Brett is correct. 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit is not bone chilling.
It is not.
To you.
It is
to
not bone
you,
chilling.
it is not bone chilling. It's subjective. My bones are chilled.
In the chat, Slav says no one has a perfect voice usually or a perfect persona. One of the things that I've loved is like I watch a lot of like long form YouTube content these days, a lot of video essays and a lot of retrospectives. You kind of have to have like the right voice and the right delivery and the right cadence for that. So I get too excited when I talk to ever be able to do like long form content.
We do long form content every day.
But I'm saying like when I'm watching we do stuff where we're kind of reacting to stories. If I'm doing a retrospective on a season of a TV show and I'm starting to get randomly excited at the middle and it's going up and down and up and down, there is the purpose of those retrospectives is it feels more like you're watching a documentary, except you're just listening to it. And it's about having even keel speech.
Thank you. Crisis meter looks weird.
Once the next super chat comes in, that will fix itself. Okay.
Shane H. Wilder said y'all can come out here upper 70s all weekend. That sounds nice.
Bro, even that's too warm for me. 65 all year round. That's what I'm looking for.
Red Snow said, just 2 shekels today. Had to replace my furnace.
Oof.
Understandable.
Understandable, man.
Zach Yandel said, good impersonation of Meg, Brett.
I don't think I did a Meg impersonation.
A Mega Red fan sent us a sticker. Thank you.
It says GG. I wonder if he's saying good game.
Shane H. Wilder said Meghan is a textbook sociopath. I don't think that she's a sociopath. If I had to guess, if I had to armchair Meghan, I think she is, she's histrionic. She has histrionic personality disorder. Shane H. Wilder said, I never skipped the evil intros because the messages got more and more random and hilarious as the season went on.
I mean, that's actually genius.
Yeah. More people should try it. No Control said, just call it an accountability summit. Well, they're not going to summit for that.
Well, the women wouldn't show up for that. We know that.
Zach Hates YouTube said, don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know.
I'm assuming
Murph,
that's a reference.
Don't let me leave Murph. I don't know what these
There's
references
a 20
are.
there.
Oh. Jose Quintana said, happy Wednesday, Brett and Ghost Empress. Brett, I saw Captain America twice and enjoyed it more the second time. However, Red Hulk should have killed Wilson and just one of his punches against the shield.
Yeah.
LLPCC.
Like, you have to get into the whole debate. Like, it'd have been one thing if they didn't address the super soldier serum, but it becomes a plot point in the movie about the fact that Sam doesn't take the super soldier serum. They even bring Bucky in to affirm Sam by saying, like, he's like, I should have taken the serum, and Bucky's like, nah, man, you didn't need to. And I guess there's some clever writing when they say, what does he say? He says, Steve gave people something to believe in, you give people something to aspire to, or something like that, which I guess that's an interesting...
What the hell is the difference?
Well, I'm saying, like, they can't aspire to be Captain America. I could be mixing up that line. It was something along the lines. They can't aspire to be Steve Rogers because they don't have super soldier serum.
Okay.
Maybe I have it backwards or something. It seemed like fairly decent writing at the time in a really, really slop-filled basic way. But the shoehorning of Bucky in there didn't really make sense either. I mean, I understand that it made sense, but just leave him out of it. I don't think he needed to be brought in there to have his heartfelt moment with Steve. Like, maybe if he was, like, just on the verge of taking the super soldier serum and Bucky talks him out of it, but even that wouldn't have been that interesting. I really wish like I said, I really wish they would have swapped it around and made it so Joaquin was the one who ended up in jail and Isaiah Bradley was the one who he was out trying to save the day with, because then he would have had help from a super soldier. And that would have made sense against the Hulk. But every time the Hulk hits him with the shield, hits him in the shield, I'm like, yeah, I get it. The shield is, he has the shield. He's got the vibranium wings. Fine. But does that really mean that when he hits the vibranium doesn't then just, like, cave his skull in? Like, are Sam's arms enough to prevent the shield from coming back and hitting him in the face? Is it like some type of weird, like, power distribution? Now, that's kind of cool to have that discussion because that's very much the type of discussion you'd have at a comic book shop. But still, every time the Hulk would hit him, I'm like, he just, like, put his hand through a car, yet because the shield's in front of him, he didn't just push Sam into another stratosphere? It didn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Shane H. Wilder said, bad baby mama drama, say it 5 times fast.
Bad baby.
You're
mama
not doing
drama.
it fast.
This is as fast as I talk now.
Bad baby mama drama, bad baby mama drama, bad baby mama drama, bad baby mama drama, bad baby mama drama. Was that 5 times? I think that was 5. Zach Hates YouTube said, damn, Mary, too soon, but good one. She's cold now. Yeah, that was too soon. I apologize.
Yeah.
To whom it may have offended. Dr. Larsena said, men's summits have been outlawed. Men are only allowed 3 types of meetings now. Bible study, prayer meeting, conclave. Judging by the recent film, the 3rd may have to drop from the list soon.
And HR meetings when they say something out of pocket at work.
There are other men's groups. They're just few and far between, unfortunately. But I feel like a Bible study and a prayer meeting just kind of go in the same category. I don't know. Jewish AF of Christendom said, how old is middle-aged to y'all? 35, 40, why?
I don't know. Like, is that middle age? I guess, like, what's the average life expectancy in America? 80?
I don't know.
High 70s? So 35 to 40 would be middle age? That sounds about
40, I guess?
right.
Yeah. 200 Watt Studio said Bucky should have been Cap. He had the serum, and he would have represented redemption, which is very American.
Plus,
Wait, is redemption an American value?
I mean,
I didn't really
think of it that way, but I mean, it's still a great story, even if that's not necessarily inherently tied to America. But like, he shows up in the movie, doesn't even help. Like a true politician. He's like, sorry, I'm running for office. Guess you're going to have to go fix this on your own. He truly is a politician now. I'm not voting for Bucky after that.
I think we're all caught up on the super chats now.
All right, guys. Before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Mary, where can they find you?
One more from Shane H. Wilder. Bravo, Mary. I didn't think anyone would do it. Do what? I don't know what any of these
the
super
5
chats
times
mean.
fast.
Oh, okay. And Jose Quintana sent us a 20. You quoted it right, Brett. I know we have to suspend disbelief to a degree, but just the sheer force of Hulk's punch also, or as you just explained, Ghost Empress love the braids, or do I long live the ghost braids?
Like, he ripped pillars off the White House, and the shield stops him from being, like, no. No.
Why does it make you so angry?
I don't know.
I appreciate that you care.
Yeah, I guess.
But this is why I can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is why I can't watch these types of movies, because I can't care about the, theoretical plot holes and
Also,
technical arguments.
They did the thing. So the CGI got really bad at the end, like really noticeable. They're like, so the whole point is that
it was crunch time.
Betty loved the cherry blossoms, and they're fighting amongst the cherry blossoms. And I'm like, that's some CGI as fuck cherry blossoms.
It even looked bad in the trailer.
Yeah, so it looked horrible there. Also, like, why did she pick up the phone when he called her right before he went out to give the speech at the White House, and then the whole thing, and then blah blah. They bring back Liv Tyler. She's the same actress. The guy who plays Stearns is the same actor, but of course it can't be the same Thunderbolt Ross because William Hurt died, and it's not even from a Hulk movie where the Hulk is the same because it was Edward Norton and not Mark Ruffalo who took the role over later. It's all up in the air, and people are talking about the homework of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm like, how about the homework of having not seen the Incredible Hulk in like a decade? How about that homework? Because it's been probably that long since I've seen that movie. But anyways, guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you have not subscribed here yet. All right, everybody. Mary, I think we got one more there?
One more from the rumbling. Michelle Trachtenberg had the issue of being compared to Jennifer Love Hewitt back in the day. Are they lookalikes?
Not really to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Yeah, if the cherry blossoms were like the theme of the movie, maybe the best thing they should have done is like make sure you get some like grade A CGI on the cherry blossoms.
Do they mean that like in DC?
Yeah, like they're in DC. The funny thing is like there's shots where they're very clearly outside of like the Washington Monument and all that stuff at night. It looks great, and you're like, you just know that none of that was filmed there. All of that was done.
Couldn't they have just filmed it there?
It would cost a fortune, and DC traffic is odd. Like they would never get the permits to do that.
What, you can't get permits to film any sort of Hollywood production in DC?
I mean, the security concerns of being that close to the White House and the Pentagon, just.
I guess.
Yeah, just I imagine if I had to guess, all of that was CGI.
That's why you go to the CIA and they have departments for that so that they can give you access.
Well,
they actually they make agreements.
No, I know.
To give you access for things like that, as long as you stick to their guidance on what to write in your script about the government, you know?
All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what this was. To be fair, the movie does have a pretty, like, we have to work with the president even if we don't like the choices he's made theme, which is a theme of the movie. Because let's face it, Thunderbolt Ross is a pretty bad dude. So they're like, he's still the president. We got to work with him. There was definitely some Frankenfilm in there of a very different movie that I'm sure they would have liked. It's not too far off from that G20 movie that Viola Davis is going to make. They wanted a different movie if Kamala had won. So, all right, guys, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Always a good way to help the show. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we'll be back with another.
From Shane H. Wilder. Middle-aged is considered 45 to 65. I'll take your word for it.
Well, all right then. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.